Everybody, Joe Ciaccio here. Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend as always. Today I want to go over something that has been a discussion for probably, I don't know, a long time on should you do a price point selling or should you do a face amount selling. And for the newer agents on the phone, price point selling is when you're visiting with a client, you're talking to them, you're gathering some personal information in the warm-up. They're normally going to ask you, what does it cost? You're going to say, well, we got programs that you can get that are $100 a month. Is that within your budget? They're going to go, no, it's not. Say, well, what about a $75 program to make sure everything is taken care of for you and your family? They'll say, okay. So that's price point selling, and you've got an idea of where they want to be. Face amount selling is when you're talking with the people and you go more into detail, as I did not a minute ago, on how much a funeral costs, $12,000 to $15,000, and you're going to sit and talk to them about $12,000 to $15,000, what is needed to take care of all your expenses. Then when you show them the price sheet of all the different programs, you got a 20, a 17, a 15, and a 13 down there for them because you already told them what it's going to cost. Now, I recommend you guys to go to a local funeral home, or you can go online and get their general price list. GPL is what it's called, general price list, and it's going to show you everything it costs to get buried there. That doesn't include the cemetery. It doesn't include if you want to go to the cemetery and be a traditional in-ground, or you want to get a niche where you put your actual urn there, or if you just want to get an urn and put it on your mantle. So those are things you can kind of tap on when you're speaking with people. Kind of goes like this here. I'm here today, and you had sent this card in, and what we're going to go over today is see if you qualify for a program. Now, have you given any thought to how you want to be buried? Be quiet, let them talk. Well, really haven't thought about it, really haven't talked about it, don't really know what I can afford. Say, well, there's numerous ways that you can take care of this here. The more expensive way, which a lot of people still go with, is a traditional funeral where you have to get grave space. You need to go to a funeral home for them to take care of all of the burials, the embalmings, all of that stuff there. And then if you want to have a wake where people come to the funeral home and visit with you the night before to pay their respects. So basically, the more you have done, it's going to make it a little bit more costly. That's kind of like your first option. Your second option is if you want to get a burial by cremation, and then you have to think about, do you want to get a niche, which you got to pay for a niche to be kept, your urn will be kept at the cemetery, or do you want to go the least expensive way, is to have a burial, have a cremation, get the urn, and you take it, spread it where you want, or keep it at the house. So those are kind of like your options of which way people go. They may ask you, what is the most common way? They may ask you, what are you going to do? Now you got to take a soft step backwards and say, well, how do I answer that question? If you tell them most people go with a traditional funeral, that's going to cost $12,000, $15,000, $17,000, depending on the area you live in. They may sit and say, I can't afford that. I don't want to buy nothing. So you got to be kind of careful how you push them towards a certain one. The mere fact is you could scare them off. Now, I like telling them, I said, you know something? I've got a niche. That's the way I want to go today. I said in 6 months or 5 years, I may change my mind and say I want to go with a full-blown burial. I want to go out and buy some ground space. I want to have a wake. I want the whole 9 yards. So the thing today is we need to get you qualified for a program that you feel comfortable contributing to every month to relieve the burden from your husband Frank, or your daughter Marie, or your son Anthony. So all we want to do today is get something in place, because the beauty about working with me is that we can start something today that may be your final choice, Yet, if not, you change your mind, I can always come back and we can add to the program we're going to qualify you today with. So I'm driving, we're going to do something today, we're going to qualify you for a program today, we're going to do something today. And I'm really not going to throw out no high numbers because, some people are on budgets. Well, we're all on budgets. Yet some people get kind of gun shy and pull on that trigger and want to take the money out of their pocket and give it to you. So you got to kind of float up in the air to where you're kind of like, you can go this way, you can go this way, you can go that way there. But the name of the game, Mr. Jones, is for us to get you started today with something to where you can work it into your budget, because I have no idea, nobody has any idea when the man upstairs says it's time to come home. I like being prepared for everything. That's why I got a good car insurance. That's why I've got a good life insurance program. That's why I have a good final expense plan, because I do not know when anything is going to happen. I'm going to be cautious. I'm going to be safe, yet you have no idea. So you're there talking and they say, well, Joe, I'm really not sure which way I want to go. Say, well, let me ask you a question. If you were to think about this for 1 second before you give me an answer, for just you, I'm talking to a husband and wife now. Can you guys each afford $100 a month to start a program to where it could be more than what you need, or may not be enough of what you need? The beauty about it is, if you spend $100 a month and the funeral amount is less, your beneficiaries, you will get the difference in the money. So it's not just the money's being thrown away. The money's going towards the program, and then at the time when you decide which one you want, anything left over will go to your spouse or your kids. Does $100 per person sound adequate to you? Normally the husband is going to look at the wife, because normally in the old days, the wife took care of all of the bills. Husband was the earner. He went out and worked 1 or 2 jobs, sometimes 3, to provide for his family, gave his wife the paycheck. He kept a couple of dollars for lunch. She took care of everything. Now, one thing I will tell you is that whenever you're going over either a face amount or you're going over a price point selling, you must include both of them in your conversation. You must give them evenly amount of time discussed, even amount of eye contact with him and eye contact with her, because you really don't know who rules the roost. You may think you do, because a man is 6'2" and weighs 275, you assume he's the head honcho. Yet dynamite comes in small packages. So you make sure, no matter which way you're going, no matter which price point, doesn't matter what you're doing, you must make them feel, which is the best part about what we do, that they're both participating in this event. They're both going to decide which plan they go with, and you're going to give them both the same feeling of authority, not knowing who will call the shots. Okay? Because I went to a house one day. This guy was leader of the pack. I sent the card in. I want the information. I want this. I want that. So I started talking mainly to him. This is back in the days when I was just beyond green and beyond a rookie. Started talking to him because I thought I knew how to sell. I'm talking to him. He goes, yeah, we probably can do that there. And I don't see anything wrong with that. So he looks at the wife and says, honey, what do you think? Nope. Not doing it today. We need to talk about it. We need to think about it. So I started to reflect. What did I do right? What did I do wrong? I know a presentation. I know this. I know the pricing. And I started thinking. So I ran it by a friend of mine who's in the insurance business. I said, Joe, he says, did you give her the same amount of talk time that you gave him? I looked down, put my head down like a little wounded puppy, and I go, no, I didn't. He says, well, I'm not saying that was, but that may have been why she said no, because she didn't feel that she was important in making this decision. Give them each the same amount of time. Now, if they say they can't afford $100 each, from there, what does $75 feel comfortable for you and for you? No, 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 no. That's just a little bit more than what we want to spend. So now either you can go down to $60 a month each, or you can ask them, what do you feel comfortable spending? If you do the 60, you may get them to say, okay. If you get them to say, what do you want to spend? You may get a smart aleck person say, well, we don't want to spend no more than $50 between both of us. So now you know they're in la la land. Now you know they have no idea what life insurance costs. Now you're kind of at an uphill battle because you shot up too high in the beginning, but you don't know unless you shoot high. When you're visiting with a client, if you don't shoot high, they'll never get the opportunity to buy high. And well, a lot of times what we do as agents, experienced but more so the inexperienced ones, we'll sit and look around the house. We're looking around, we're looking at the pot over there, the TV, we're looking at the radio they have, we're looking at the furniture they have, and we automatically assess they can't afford much because of the way their couch looks or because of anything, okay, or the brand cigarettes they're smoking. So what happens is that our brain supersedes the questions we need to ask to qualify them. So when we go over something with them, we start off too low. Now, let's say you go to the client's house and you say, Joe, I really don't feel comfortable with that price point selling. I don't like talking about dollars up front. I can't say, $200 for both of them. That's just something my personality it doesn't give me a feeling of confidence to talk that way there. That's fine. You go through the process. An average funeral in your part of town will be anywhere between 12 to 15 to 17,000. You're 72 years old. An average man lives to be about 82, 83. You're 60 years old, ma'am. Average woman lives to be 85, 87 years old. So you got a long time for that day to come. Now, I have no idea. You can be on the way to a doctor's appointment one day. Somebody having a bad day, somebody playing on their phone, may run a stoplight, bam, hits you, and you pass away. I don't have a crystal ball. So what I want to do today is for you to pick out a plan that you feel comfortable with, knowing that you can always add to it later, because my job is to assess the situation, coach you, give you all the information, and then you're going to be the one who's going to pick out the plan you want to start. I'm making them feel that they're the boss, they're in charge. And believe it or not, they are. All we are counselors, we're coaches, we're going to guide them, we're going to show them, we're going to educate them, and then hopefully based on the way we come across, they're going to pick out a plan that's suitable for them. They're happy, we're happy, and we live happily ever after. Now, if you ask me, Joe, what do you do? What is your style? Which one do you do? Because if you do it that way, that's what I want to do. Well, I'm going to tell you. My style is I kind of read the person. I kind of throw out some numbers in the beginning. An average funeral costs, $12,000, $13,000, $15,000, and some people spend upwards of $100, $125 a month to start a program. Okay, is that something that is within your budget? Now, based on their body language, if they start bouncing around and start doing this here and all that stuff there, they can't afford it, or they're good actors. Okay? So, it depends on the client I'm dealing with. It depends on where they live. Okay? If they live in an actual a senior adult facility that is rent controlled based on their income, I don't think I'm going to come out with $100 a month. Because if they're on rent control, unless they got a job where they get paid cash on the side and nobody knows nothing about it, you can always tell them, I see you're on a budget. You live in a rent controlled facility. So what I want to do is start you off with something that is kind of small to give you the peace of mind that when something does happen, I don't take all your money every month, yet you're going to have a nice final expense program set up for you to where your daughter Marie and your son Frankie are going to have no problems with it. Okay? So I'm going to go with the program, how it works. I'm going to give you plans that will probably be a little bit higher than what you can afford. Yet my job is to show you what's available. Your job is to analyze your income, what your expenses are, to where you can pick out something that you feel comfortable with. Knowing we can start off with something kind of small today, and I can come back 2 months, 6 months from now and add to it. Well, Joe, you shouldn't tell them you're going to start them with a small plan. You should start off with something small. You should always start off with something high. Well, I'm not saying that's the right way or that's the wrong way to do things, but doing this for 27 years, I'm not going to go to somebody who lives in a rent-controlled facility and tell them they ought to buy one for $100 a month. Because here's what may happen. They may get it, payments are there forever, they pass away, they're happy. But what's going to happen is sometimes, depending on how smooth your conversation goes, how believable what you're saying is going on, they're going to bite off that $100 one knowing they can't afford it because you're telling them how great it is and it's something they should have. Some may keep it and some may say, damn, after a month or so, 2 months, say, we can't afford this. I can't afford it. Why did I get it? I don't know why. I let this guy talk me into it. Now they cancel. Now you got to go back and kind of beg, borrow, and steal to get them back on the books to lower the face amount. So I'm a firm believer that part of a pie is better than no pie at all. I'd rather get a little bit today, knowing that I can always go back 5 months, 6 months, 7 months before their birthday to add to it. There is no, in my opinion, in my brain, there's no set exact way how to make a presentation on either price point selling or face selling that is good for everybody. There's a guy that used to work for us years ago. He only did price point selling. Always, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week is all he did. He said, Joe, what I did was that they were younger. I started off at $150 for both of them. Started off $225 for both of them. Knowing I could always chop it down. He said, I didn't want to leave money on the table. I didn't want to show them one for $10,000 that was only $47 a month, where they wanted to spend $75 a month, and I lost that difference in commission. So it's something that you've got to play with, something you've got to become more comfortable with on how you talk about it. And a lot of this deciding price point, fixed amount, face amount, is when you're going through the warm-up with them, how you're speaking with them. You have another program in place. You know, why haven't you gotten anything so far? How's your health? You know what I'm saying? What do you feel is something that's going to be affordable that you can afford to pay every month? In the conversation, you're just talking with them. You're speaking with them. And what you're doing is that you're trying to extract information from them that will help you get a game plan to where you can show them the best plan for them. So with that said, guys, 10:20, you guys have a great day. You got any questions, call. Remember, AEP is coming up now in October 15th. Agent called Jay on Friday and said, I didn't realize how close it was. I need to get contracted. He says, I'm tired of piddling. I need to make some other income, another stream of income. So if you're thinking about Medicare Advantage, you're thinking about doing more Medicare supplements, give us a call. We've got top contracts. We've got all the carriers. We love you. We appreciate you. Make it a great day. And right there's our phone number. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.